It was just really difficult to wander through this building in the state that it was in and not feel the lives lived here. We were really interested in what people had done to make these flats into their homes. Park Hill's a really important building for Sheffield. Like it or not, it really kind of contains the history and the stories of people of Sheffield through some quite difficult times for the city. It was the first of 4 projects that Sheffield City Council built, which were Streets in the Sky, the first in the country, and it's the only one left.
The mixture of commercial, retail and residential kind of harmonises quite well. I think it serves as a kind of beacon for restoring buildings, an iconic skyline for Sheffield really, this recognisable thing as you arrive into the city.
There's a fundamentally different approach between Phase 1 and Phase 2. In Phase 1 was to change perceptions at a very visible and kind of legible city-wide scale. Now with Phase 2, we move it into a further enrichment of the community and the sort of the ingredients that make a good place.
It's a huge building, almost 1,000 homes in the original estate. It was all just the brickwork reveals, so looking at the building you couldn't really see the sense of individuality in the whole. But we noticed that some previous tenants or residents had started to paint their balcony reveals. And we think that was people's way of expressing their own home and being able to stand and look up at the building and say, that's my flat there.
There's a gentleness, a subtlety to Phase 2 that I really enjoy. Nothing's kind of screaming out at you. It feels harmonious with the surroundings and the gardens. And when you glance around, there is just a kind of, a nuanced change in colour.
Certainly in Sheffield, I don't think you'd find a building that feels as special as Park Hill. Ticked a lot of boxes for us practically, but also felt like the right fit for us as a design agency.
It's a really unusual type of brutalism, very kind of British brutalism with the bricks within the concrete frame. Obviously, there are quite a lot of technical problems with a building like this. I can look at any corner and think about the conversations we've had about how to get it watertight and airtight. We thought it was important to retain as much built fabric as we can, and our philosophy was, if it works, let's keep it. So we've actually kept party walls. The bricks are in really good condition. We've not even repointed them. They just had a clean. And partly that was because they were set in lime mortars, so they've moved with the building.
I guess from a social point of view, one of the big things was the streets in the sky, and in the original design they were always designed to be social spaces, places for people to meet, children to play, wide enough to drive a milk float down. So we really wanted to keep that sense of a street in the sky. We've introduced full height glazing into the front doors, and that really allows you to then see in and out. We've given each flat its own colour and its own front door mat, and that's allowed people to have their own personal space.
You'll see all the paths follow quite a striking sort of angular arrangement around the site, softened by the planting. And in that, we were really fortunate. We had a great legacy of existing trees around the site. It's creating a sense of a space that can be used by the community that sort of now inhabits Phase 2. It needs the people to activate it. We're really creating just the stage, the set. It's really the people inhabiting that space that brings the joy, I think.
The infrastructure is starting to be put back in place. So we've got hairdressers, a corner shop, a bar, a deli. So you can see all the seeds of a viable community are all there, and there's a keenness and enthusiasm for it to so develop. Every time I come back, I feel as if I'm coming home.
There's 2,000 people that live here already, and we've still got Phase 4 and 5 to go. It'd be amazing to see in another 20 years, with all the phases open, the community here, all the shops and units all open. I think it's going to have its own little amazing kind of oasis away from the city centre, although being so close.
The fact that we've been able to turn something that felt like it was a liability and an eyesore, or something that lots of people in the city felt was not a positive thing for the city. I think now people really do feel very differently about it, with new life and new people and new health and new community and new happiness.
All of these spaces feel like homes again, and to be able to continue that on Phases 4 and 5 and complete the estate, that is really satisfying to me.
There won't be any built like this again. However, I just think it's very important to keep these buildings. We wanted to make great homes here, And having spoken to quite a lot of people living here, I think we've managed that.